Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got Brent Knudsen, and today we're going to be talking about frequency technology that he created, which is the flower of life working on a magnetic level, helping food sources and the bees and everything like that. And this is the future, frequency technology that I believe that was hidden by our mainstream controllers, I'd like to call them. But Brent, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
And it's great to be back with you, Nick, from the first time we met and going through and getting you familiar with a little bit of what we're doing. But it's always great to be back with you because going out with the questions you ask and with your audience is getting them more up to speed on, how these frequencies really work in nature, in a natural environment, and can affect so much, not only with us, but animals, insects, reptiles, and plants. So it's a pleasure and honor to be here.
Of course, it's a pleasure and honor to have you as well. Why don't you give the viewers a short summary of what the pure wave is exactly, or explain to them what is the flower of life and how that does work on a magnetic level, and then if we could go on to how that, leading into how that helps farmers and the bees and things like that.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll start with first of a little of my background, which was not in sacred geometry principles or the flower of life that we're going to talk about here. My background was in forensic mathematics, which configuring for algorithms when we were doing the original debit and credit banking machines back in the 90s. So all of that I was dealing with the math algorithms to deal with moving, principles of money around. So we're going back, 30, 35 years. But what I noticed, Nick, when I was doing all of that concrete work for moving digitals around electronically, what I started to notice is it led me straight into sacred geometry, which I was a fan of kind of as a hobby. But I was seeing these figures and these structures coming up over and over and over again. And it led me into looking at the sacred geometry principles of basically two diagrams. One was the star tetrahedron, which people know as the Star of David, and the flower of life. And as I'm speeding this up, but as I started to go down that path and understand how strong it was everywhere. I mean, it was in every religion. It was in every aspects of our life. It's in corporate, that I realized that it led to quantum physics. It was really the ancients were talking about quantum physics because it was with the atom structure itself. And so then that led me into looking at, well, how do these structures, if you can bond them, and this is where the magnets come in, affect at a cellular level. And this is all organisms, not just humans, but insects and reptiles and plants, anything that is organic and cellular. And through going through, painstakingly looking into what all the rhythms of that was, I found out that at a cellular level in mitosis, when all of us, including you and me and everybody listening, the first thing we did when we split are at a cellular from a one-celled organic creature, whether it be human, insect, whatever, the first thing we did was we went into the flower of life in mitosis. And we have that all filmed. And I think we did it in an earlier episode with you. And and it'll be fun to show it again sometime. But what that did is it affected, and that meant that it was building a blueprint on health at a cellular level. So that's when we started to know, okay, this is when I knew I had to start to hold that frequency. And then I started to work with very powerful neodymium magnets. And this is the casing. So it's inside the casing are these magnetic petals that hold the frequency that affects us at a cellular level. And then I decided, well, let's go out there into the world. And we started to work with it into the insects and their bees, because of the bee decline that I became aware of in 2015. And that opened everything. We went out into the bee world and started comparing, using the pure wave cell to expose the bees to, and then not. And then we did 3-year studies We started to work with food in labs, and all of it was effective because everything's a frequency. What we wanted to do was cancel out bad ones and deal with healthy ones. So that's where all of that came from. And I'll stop there so that we can start to define some of what we're saying here.
No, I think it's great. And I just want to remind the viewers as well from our last interview that, I'm privileged to own one of these Pure Waves, and every night you told me to put it under my pillow, and I'm just getting vivid dreams. It's affecting me. It's affecting me as well. So it cancels out negative energy or frequency that we don't want, and it concentrates the right frequency. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be specific. It's always good to describe what we know it does. So what we know it does, and why we know this, is because we've done the studies. So we know that that food from the grocery store that has different pathogens such as E. coli or Staphylococcus or Listeria in it, it neutralizes that up to 100%, 60, 40%, because we've done the study in a food lab to do that. So we know that. We know that it also affects the bees at a cellular level because it builds their immune systems up, because we did the study on that. And it's for all of us the pure wave cell is also, because of the magnetics, is known for things like circulation, things like that. So that mostly inflammation is what causes all pain and suffering in the human body. So it helps with that because of the magnetics and what kind of frequency it performs. So those are the things we know it does because we did the studies. We don't come out and say that it cures anything or it fixes anything, because that's not the way it works anyway. The body is the only thing that fixes itself. The problem is, same as the bees, they're subject to all of this environmental pollution that's going on that we can talk about, whether that's dirty electricity or pesticides or whatever. But so are we affected by that. And so it interferes with the body, or in this case, the bee's immune system, to heal itself. So what we're looking at is using these frequency and the pure wave cell to help with getting the distracted frequencies away and letting the body heal itself, because that's the only thing that can heal you is your own body, right? So that it's just that it needs to be left alone from the environment that's polluting it in one way or another, depending on where you live or what you're doing. So I wanted to make it clear that that's how it works, is really it comes in to assist and build up and help your immune system by simply allowing the body to heal itself by not being subject or not as exposed to the pathogens, whether it be through food or their environment.
So can you explain how you're improving your environment with the Pure Waves? Obviously, you've been distributing the Pure Wave to beekeepers and stuff like that. Could you explain what you've done, how it's helped, and then we can go into some of the videos that you've got lined up, because I know you've got a lot of feedback that you want to share with the viewers from the beekeepers.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. And that's a great question onto it. So let's go back to what you were saying about how it helps, how the pure wave helps with the body. First of all, it's been measured that within 12 inches of circumference of the cell is its maximum strength. So it has these very powerful neodymium magnets in it that are at a strength of 48,000 gauss in strength of radiating out. After that, it dissipates. So the pure wave cell is kept very close to the body, or very close to the bees where they're exposed to it all the time, coming in and out. So the closer you're exposed to it, it's a natural earth frequency based on those magnets, their earth magnets, and that geometry that the cells respond to in a healing way. What they do is it's like it cancels out just like canceling headphones. The pathogens coming in on your food source, it will neutralize those. That's how it's doing it with the food. So by having it close to the body, or in your case, where you're saying where you're sleeping with your head under the pillow or people sitting on it, everybody will be different depending on what's going through. But we've noticed it had great success in things like inflammation, pain reduction, because magnetic forces do that anyway. So it's just in that way. And when you can get that kind of reduction coming off the body, then the body will heal itself. So it's not, the pure wave cell isn't healing anything. It's just allowing the body to heal it, right? And it's giving, just like if you and I live in a more natural environment where we're not exposed to radiation or we're not exposed to 5G, our bodies tend to work very, very nicely, or they're not exposed to, let's say, going into where there's all kinds of flu epidemics where they're exposed to, they're more isolated. It allows the body to have a higher immune system. So it's an immune system building that allows so that the body can take care of itself. And that's what the bees do. The stronger we can have the bees by exposure, then they can withstand pesticides, and they can withstand more so than the other bees because they're all exposed to it anyway. And so are we, and 5G and Wi-Fi and so forth, which are frequencies that are amazing for communication, like what we're doing, but they're not good for us as a cellular. They don't work well on a cellular level, right? So,
of course.
So that's what we're working with. And how you can tell, Nick, if you and I were sitting here together beside each other, and they exposed us to radiation frequency, we wouldn't feel anything. Like we'd feel absolutely not. But 2 weeks from now, we'd start going down. We'd start getting sick because the cells are breaking down. But there's a time lag there. Same as you're in a healthy environment, it helps build up the cells. So again, I'll reiterate, is the body always fixes itself. So whatever anybody's going through, whatever it is that is taking them down, they need to get to a place where they're, whatever it is, their environment or what they've been exposed to or what they're doing, they need to give the body a break from that and then have more of a healing environment or better frequencies around them, right?
Absolutely. So what this essentially does, it creates a really clean environment for everything to work in harmony with life, awareness, or like any organic organism, like you said, and that's what it does. It creates amazing food. The immune system optimizes itself. Interesting. Let's just go ahead with the videos and see what you'd like to show today.
Oh, what we thought we'd like to do, if you'd like to start with. So what happened out of it is we were working with the bees. And that's gone phenomenal, which, by the way, then ended up to a superior honey that we have over here, because that came out of those healthy hives, and it's a superior honey. Anybody going to our website, there's videos on that. It's crazy, crazy good. But what it also did, because we have a far reach out now, we were contacted by a gal from New Mexico, Savannah, who is into sparrow rescue or helping injured birds that have been abandoned, sick, and so forth, or also injured. And she reached out to say, well, hey, listen, I see what you're doing with the bees. I think if we expose, young birds or sickly birds or injured birds to the pure wave cell, I wonder if that would help them or help the healing and so forth and speed that up. And I said, I don't know, but we sent her pure wave cells. I'm not sure if we sent her 3 or 5 or whatever we sent her to her. And then we left her alone. And then she started coming back with these amazing videos about when she was taking rescue birds in, she was exposing them and baby birds to the pure wave cell. And the results were speeding up everything she was doing. So there was an injured roadrunner that came in, and she worked with the pure wave cell with it and then released it. So she's just like incredibly excited. And I said, well, all it's doing is it's helping with what you're already doing, because she's feeding them certain foods and things, but it was speeding up on some of their natural recovery, but simply by just the environment. Like it was, not specific to one thing or the other. So we can show a little of that if you like, and then we can get into what else it's all over what the beekeepers are doing.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Brent, for that. And I think we've got Lisa in the background who's on that's it. She's going to show us some videos now.
Excellent.
A roadrunner just come in. It's I think it's a juvenile. I'll grab one real quick. They said that the bird was limping, and he didn't try to get away when they went to pick him up. He just sat there and let him grab him, and that's, of course, not supposed to be that way. They brought him in this little dog carrier. Let me grab him. Hey, buddy. And here we go. So we're gonna examine the bird. Hi. Hi. So he's definitely a juvenile. They're usually a bit bigger when they're full grown. You can kind of, one way you can tell besides just overall size is by the length of the tail. They get very, very, very long tails when they're full grown. This one's definitely not full grown. And he feels very skinny. He's a bit emaciated. Hey, buddy. So we're gonna check out his legs real quick. A roadrunner's legs are kind of like a normal bird's wings. They really need them to be able to do what they do in the wild. So just look at your legs real quick. Yeah, good baby. Yeah. I gotcha. Okay, let's see. I gotcha. It's okay, it's okay. That one looks okay. It's okay. It's okay. There we go. So yeah, something happened to his leg here. Can't tell what it is, but it's all scabbed up. We're going to use some iodine on the wound. That helps it from getting further infected. It's very safe for all animals, really, but for birds especially. Here you go. Yeah, good. Hi. So we'll give him some food and water in the bin. We're also going to put a pure wave cell in there because the roadrunners seem to really, really do well with it. It's been helping them recover from injuries, sometimes really severe injuries. They seem to really enjoy it. They'll sit on it usually. So I'm going to put that in there. Hey, buddy. Yeah? What's going on? It's okay. There you go. There. Yeah, sorry. There you go. All done. Yeah? What's that? And usually, I've noticed if the pure wave cell is helping them, one of the first signs you'll see of them being affected by it is their feathers will start kind of changing and moving. So we'll check on him and see how he's doing.
And this one was in the cholla over here. It wasn't as bad, but oh, it's so little. Look
Yeah,
at
he's
you.
there you go.
Hi, baby. Hi. Should I give you a schmousey?
Wow, amazing! I love that.
Well, it's so raw because it's done. It was done over time, and it was really not it's not our focus to go and get that content. Like where we're documenting it. But it was such a wonderful surprise and wonderful experience for Savannah to send this back to us, because she was doing this over a period of 2 months or 3 months. And then she started to work with all these sparrows and little birds, because some of them come in where they're just little chicks and so forth. And she was getting great results from that as well. So I thought to myself, of course it would help. It would help, but the way she's doing it, and she has like a rescue scenario where her home and so forth. It just feels fabulous to be able to then spread out, because it wasn't our focus is to be, doing with birds. But this is what comes out of it. And again, it reinforces what you and I have been talking about. Yes, we focus on the bees because it's something that we can structure. But it's fallen into, now that we're showing you with birds, but also people's pets. They use it for their pets or older pets to help with some of the pain reduction, things like that, because of, again, inflammation. So it helped. And magnets are wonderful for that anyway. We just have configured them in a more effective way as to how we're doing it. But there's all super research on being able to get that inflammation down. And that's really what we're doing. We're just eliminating the body with what it's exposed to from inflammation. So that helps with a lot of things. And it also helps at a food source. And she used the Pure Wave Cell for the food for the birds as well, before feeding them and so forth. And so this is, it's a really feel good thing to know how it's spreading out and what it's doing for us and insects and birds, and it would for reptiles as well, because we're all of the same thing. We're all at a cellular level. What makes one species effectively weakened and sick is for the rest of us too. That's why the bees are so important. They're an indicator, because we live in hives too. It's called our home, and we're exposed as well. So this is giving the feedback to showing in the real world what it's doing. Right?
I think it's amazing. It's very humanitarian. It's helping animals. It's helping the way the food grows, the way we consume food. It helps human beings. It helps us sleep well. It helps. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's a fantastic, situation, invention that you've created. Yeah.
Well, and really, back into the ancients, the reason I came up with magnets is I thought to myself, way back, what would they be using way back, 2,000, 3,000 years ago? And it occurred to me, crystals and magnets, because they'd have access to that. That's what they would use. They didn't have modern electricity. And what I found out is electricity, by structuring where you do at AC current electricity, it's not as effective as the DC. The DC is that natural earth frequency, right? So that's why the ancients kind of, I knew that they, not only did they know what the geometry was, and you see it in all those old structures. Like when you look at ancient cities compared to modern cities, we all live in a bunch of boxes compared to what they were living in, right? They're actual structures, and we see it all the time through those uncovering those ancient cities. So that's where I really understood that this was profoundly important. But then I realized it fell into quantum physics, and it affected all of us living organisms in a way that really benefits us. Now, how do we spread it out? And yes, people can use it for doing certain ailments they have, and certainly cleaning their food and so forth. But we don't have to, there's such broad things when it comes to health, that this only has to be something that helps with the basis of it, because the body then is allowed to go on and do what it does, or people get the attention they need. So that's helping greatly, just on a basis. But now we can talk, that you like to talk about, what's this go on and do for us out in the environment and food sources, and how we can change what's going on now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you've even mentioned that I could just put my bottle of water or a bowl of fruit on top of the Pure Wave, and even that will be purified and filled with good frequency. Or you can explain this better than me.
Well, yeah. I want to correct that terminology. It doesn't purify food. What it does very effectively. So if everything is a frequency, so a pathogen in a food, let's take E. coli. Now, these are what we found is that when we just took food from the grocery store, they had these different pathogens in it. And that's why people get mild food poisoning a lot of the time. So they have to take, that's why they take Pepto-Bismol or Alka-Seltzers or things, is because it's not deadly, but it's affecting. Mm-hmm. So what the Pure Wave Cell does, by being exposed with this food source on it, let's say chicken or fish or whatever, for 5 minutes, is it neutralizes that frequency. So it counters it, just like the headphones. One frequency comes in and neutralizes the other, because that's all E. coli is. It's a frequency. So that's what it's doing. It's just neutralizing it, so that when you eat the food, that pathogen's not going in you. That's simply what it's doing, right?
Let me ask you this then. Let's flip it around. So let's say I've got fruit in my living room, okay? Can that be affected by the Wi-Fi negatively?
Well, that I don't know. That like I guess if that was if the fruit was maybe on a heavy Wi-Fi source, maybe there's studies of that could affect the food. It's certainly out in the environment. We know that growing food without certain pesticides, or if it's growing near heavy electrical fields, that there is an effect on it. That. But to specifically answer that question, I couldn't say, yeah, that's really hurting your fruit. But what I can tell you is, no matter what, wherever you have that fruit, if you take it, if you suspect that it's been maybe it's been exposed to other pathogens, even that's around, take it on a plate, put it on the Pure Wave cell for 5-10 minutes or whatever, or in your fridge, and then that's a way of neutralizing whatever it might have been exposed to, right? Well, you can call it cleaning, but let's get more technical. What it is. It's helping with, because let's say you had some fruit that was exposed to some other rotting material or bad pathogens that it came in contact with, and that's how you get sick. You eat it, and then you get that pathogen in you. So that's where it can really help with that. And it can sit in your fridge. And we say 5 minutes, but you can have it on it for hours. Just that 5 minutes is what we did the lab testing. Between before and we have all these reports on our website and the lab testing. So that was something that we wanted to nail down to exactly what it did, what it was removed, what it was neutralizing. So we know it does that. And like you said, if you want to put your water on it, just expose whatever drinking water you put on there. Certainly not. It's only going to make it better. Now, if it had something really serious in the water, is it going to neutralize that? We don't know, because we don't know what that pathogen is. But yeah, so definitely it has this amazing ability to affect those frequencies in a positive way, because it's coming from that blueprint, like I was saying, at mitosis, where we all come from. So our cells relate to it. It's like a communication.
Do you think that the pure wave can neutralize the frequencies that you're saying in a way where it can delay the food from going bad?
That great question, because we actually have done that. We did studies with cauliflower and petri dishes, and definitely, if you want, let's say, your fruit and vegetables to last longer, just put those ones that you're looking on a plate and put it on the Pure Wave cell. In my case, avocados is something that I eat quite a bit of, and they come in and as people know with avocados or bananas, they ripen up really quickly. So I have a big bowl that I put bananas and avocados in that sit on the Pure Wave cell. So the bowl can sit on it. You don't have to have it right on the cell, just the bowl, and it will delay that spoilage or that ripening by days. I've done it before and we've done tests on it. It's on our website too, under the Pure Wave cell. We've done cauliflower. We've actually taken a pepper plant that was wilting, and we didn't give it any water. We just put it on the Pure Wave cell, and it all the leaves came right up like it'd been watered. And I think we have some, like Lisa can bring some of this stuff up, but we have that kind of thing. So yes, to answer your question, it does prolong food spoilage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's
here you go. Look at this, Nick. So this was sent into us by a Pure Wave owner, and that was before with the pepper plant. And after, you can actually see the Pure Wave cells on it on the second one, but they didn't water it. They simply put it on the Pure Wave cell
without watering it, and that's the result.
That was a result within 4 or 5 hours.
Wow, that's amazing. That is
really so cool. That's why we can. I think it's always wiser to your audience to let them know what we've discovered, as opposed to making a statement, well, it does this, or it does that, or it does this. What we've experienced is what people have shown us what it does and what this is, and then what we've studied ourselves through either a lab report or by doing it. So we state that on our website just based on what we know, what we know it does. Now, we get all kinds, just like what you were saying about when you used it, about your dreams. We also had feedback from, and in this particular case, it was two different young boys in around 9 and 12, and their parents expressed back that these boys experienced like nightmares all the time, and when they put the pure wave cell and were using that, the nightmares went away. So, but whatever that means, I wouldn't say, hey, get a pure wave cell because it removes nightmares. It's just that was something that came back to us, whereas you've expressed it as the dreaming part. And we get all kinds of that stuff, but we don't want to confuse and say, well, geez, that's what it does. Because humans are so complex. This is the thing about with us as a species, we're so complex. Bees are straightforward. So that's why I went to the bees, because they work in a very non-complex way, whereas humans are exposed to so much emotional and physical and mental anxieties that there's all kinds of symptoms that are causing what's causing their different health issues. So you never want to get into saying, well, this will do that and this will do this. It's better off just to knowing what one thing does, but of course it crosses and it helps with many areas, right?
Absolutely. No, it does. And it's true. It's very complex and it can affect things and people in many different ways. And you don't want to make any claims. And I'm very glad about that, because we do want to be on YouTube and we don't, we want to, use the Matrix tools to wake as many people up as possible and educate as much as possible. So we're not making any claims, but it's very good that what it's doing. Let's move on. Let's go into the bees now and the beekeepers and the feedback that you're getting from the beekeepers, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, well, what this is, because if we haven't mentioned this before, we supply all of this technology to beekeepers at no charge. It's really the public, such as your public, and all the ones we're exposed to. They have been incredible at supporting our products for themselves, win-win, and then it supports the revenue and money to go out for the beekeepers. So we have been doing this the last 2 and 3 years since we started, but now we have the reports, and then we have a group meeting once a month to bring them all together, because they're all in different areas, whether it be Texas, Virginia, Canada, Africa, we're all over the world, and we'll show you at the end, like the beekeeper map of where we are. But they're also feeding back to us what's going on when they do with the cell going in the hives, what's happening. So we'd like to show you a little of that so you can see where those dollars are going and how it's affecting and changing the dynamics out there.
Oh, absolutely. I think your humanitarian and, self and your mission, is very, very clear, and there's no doubt about that. So let's definitely have a look. Let's move on to those videos and have a look.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we got 2 hives installed the same day with the same kind of package of bees. This is 2 weeks later. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Everything's in the pudding here. This is the one with the pure wave cell inside of it. And this is the one without the pure wave cell inside of it. And we got a little bit of action there. That's about what we normally see around these parts. But lo and behold, this is the pure wave cell.
Hi, greetings from Manitoba. It's a cold, dreary day today. Well, by cold, I mean plus 12. Feels like plus 12, and I just wanted to give an update on my pure wave. I originally got it and I set it in one of my weaker hives. It seemed that the queen was struggling to lay, and there wasn't a huge population, so I left my pure wave in for a few months, and the queen was laying better, and I witnessed more population, so that was very promising. But then I stumbled upon a hive that had taken shelter in a friend of mine's shed. And so, wouldn't you know it, they were excessively aggressive. And I don't think I've ever experienced such angry bees. I eventually got them home after many stings, and I decided to try the Pure Wave in that hive just to see what might happen. And wouldn't you know it, the bees became very kind, very gentle. So, geez, maybe it was that amazing magnet. Maybe they just needed a forever home. I don't know. But regardless, I'm pretty thankful that I even tried that magnet, because so far I have been seeing really good things. Side note, on the original hive that was a bit weaker until I put the magnet in, when I removed the magnet, I did notice that the queen slowed down in laying, and there may be a drop in population in that hive. So I'm gonna have to start thinking of investing in another couple of these Pure Wave magnets, because I do think that they are beneficial to an apiary. Thank you again for all of your donations. Us beekeepers sure appreciate that.
So this is my hive that has the Pure Wave cell. I did have it swarm about 3 weeks ago, but I'm still seeing a good amount of bees in here, which is a great sign. And also another interesting thing I noticed is that they're really propolising that door. The Pure Wave is just about here. So that's pretty neat. The Pure Wave cell's been in here a month and a half and is still not at all propolised, and then you can see the propolising of the door there that I showed from the outside. Oh, and there's a yellow jacket trying to make his way in here. Okay, I'm gonna close that back up. But yeah, Pure Wave, not at all propolised, a month and a half in. Bees did swarm, but overall they still seem like they're doing good.
Okay, today we harvested honey from the hive that we have the magnet in, and I want to show you what we got from it. We got all those jars from it, and let me tell you, we looked in the super, and there wasn't any honey in it. They were working in it, but there wasn't any honey in it. So what we did, we took 4 panels out of the regular hive, and we processed them. And this is what we got just from those 4 panels. Now I have the magnet in there with it, and when I store it, I'm going to store the magnet in there with it so that it energizes my honey.
Wow, it's amazing. I just love the testimonials. I'm so, it's just amazing. Very impressive, Brent. Really, really good. And I want to let the viewers know that this Pure Wave magnetic, flower of life, geometry, device that we have is available to you. And this is the most beautiful thing about it, is that we can keep it in your fridge, keep one under your pillow, keep one under your fruit on the coffee table or whatever. But I think it's absolutely amazing. And the link's below in the description, and that's available to all of you. Brent, do you want to say anything?
Would you like to see the inside of it for your audience? Because all they're seeing is that if Lisa can bring up just a shot, we can show you what the magnets look like and the configuration that makes it special. It's not just it's not just a magnet or something. It took a lot to figure out how to get, because like a recipe of a cake, if you don't have that right, it's not the right. Yeah. That's what it looks like inside the Pure Wave cell. And if that isn't right, that's not the frequency that works. And that's why it took us so long, trial and error, to make sure that it became, just like in nature, if you don't have the formula right, you're not going to get the result. So I just wanted everybody to know that that's what it looks like inside. And that it was figured out to make that work. But you're absolutely right, Nick, is all those things that it does and helping with your pets, it is a real benefit. It has multiple uses around the house and use for health and for allowing everybody to work with it. Plus, it won't lose any strength, which is called degradation of those magnets, for 20 years. Neodymiums will hold that strength. It might lose up to 5% over 20 years. That's it. It's indestructible, so that will go. And that's why our warranty is on it that if somehow if the casing cracks or something happens to that, we just request that the magnets be sent back to us, and we'll just replace you with a brand new one, because it's the magnets that matter to us. But yeah, so this is something that you never charge it up again. You don't do it. It will go the long run. So it has real value to be in your life for a long time. And people take it on trips with them. You take it into restaurants to clean up food, because who knows what's going on in the kitchen there, you know? And so it's really interesting how people are using it.
Well, I'm loving mine, and I think my body is the most important thing for me at the moment, and I keep it under my pillow when I'm sleeping, when I'm lying down. So I love that. And Brent, thank you very much for sharing everything with us today. Again, the link is below in the description. It's available to you today. So click on the link and let me know what you think about it, and leave your comments about your testimonials, or email Brent yourself, and please let Brent know exactly how it's helped your pets or your food, or your joint problems, and how it's helped your immune system. But Brent, thank you very much, and we'll speak again very soon. You take care, and
all
God
right,
bless.
you too. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.